What's up? It's Raphael with NBA Draft Junkies, and today I have another special guest for this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I'm just excited about this guest. He's one of my favorite prospects in this draft. I'm very intrigued with his talent. I think that he has the ability long-term to be a very good NBA player. I also have my guy, Kuzey Kiliç, who is the one that is pretty much the mastermind as far as setting up all of these interviews with the prospects overseas. So, Kuzey, if you could introduce yourself and then our guest for today.
Hi everybody, my name is Kuzey Kiliç. As always, we have a special guest from Roma. His name is Paul Eboua. How are you, Eboua?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, Paul. So I want to say I first saw you at, was it Basketball Without Borders in Los Angeles? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I think that was the first time I saw you play, and then I've been able to follow your career ever since. And I don't know if you had a chance to look, but I did a video on you on my NBA Draft Junkies website. So I'm a big fan of your game and your long-term potential.
Thank
you. No problem. The first question I want to ask you is, as far as like your measurables, what is your wingspan, height, and weight right now?
And my wingspan is 7'3", and my weight is 104, and my height is 6'8".
Okay, so I'm American, and we don't know anything about kilograms. So
because I don't know in pounds.
Okay, so I think the last time I saw it had you listed at about 215 pounds. I think that's what I have listed. All right, so my question for you is, when did you start playing basketball, and how did you decide that you wanted to make it your career?
I started playing basketball when I was in Cameroon in 2014. And then I decided become my job when I come here in home. When I started to this process with Stella Azzurra, working every day, and I'm starting to look like this can be my job, because I was very improved a lot, and I decided this can be my job.
So you've only been playing for like 6 years.
Yeah.
To me, that's crazy, simply because you have people that have been playing since they were 4 or 5, and they never come close to reaching the level that you're at. Within 6 years of picking up a basketball, you are an NBA prospect. So that's an amazing story in itself.
It's very, because it's the workout. Because here in Stella Azzurra we work a lot, we improve a lot every day. So this thing helped me a lot to improve.
Yep.
Because I'm very late, I'm start very late. So Stella Azzurra helped me to improve very fast.
How are you preparing for the 2020 NBA draft?
I did a good job. The first part in this process started when I was in Pesaro. The coronavirus started, and then I spent 1 month and a half there. And when I was sure that the Italian championships is finished, my season in Serie A, and I decided to come here in Rome to Stella Azzurra to start to prepare myself with the Stella Azzurra former coaches. So we did a good job.
Okay. Now, what are you working on right now as far as preparing for the draft? Are you looking to expand your range, ball handling? What is the main thing you're focusing on?
I'm working to expand my range. We are shooting a lot, ball handling, and then we watch a lot of films to the next level, and to help me to improve my game.
So right now, you're projected to go in the second round. and I have you projected as a second round pick, that I'm trying to think, if I'm the general manager, I think that I would love to see you like develop in the G League, maybe a year, but maybe you can't help out early. And so, but a lot of players, a lot of fans in America don't know your game. They don't know your name. So how would you describe how you play to a fan that has never heard of Paul Eboua?
I am very athletic and I'm
Agreed.
explosive. Yeah, can run the floor like I like dunk, grab the rebound. Can defense one-on-one, switch on defense because my body can help me doing it. My wingspan, my height. I'm physical, so yeah, this all me.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that stood out when I saw you play is obviously your athleticism. There's a dunk that comes to mind where you caught the ball maybe like right inside maybe you caught it at the free throw line, and one dribble, two hand above the rim. And I remember when I was watching the film and I saw that, I was just like, whoa. I mean, there's some guys that can jump, but then there's guys that like have this, what we call like this pop and this burst. And you have that. You get off the ground quickly. You look to dump everything once you get in the lane. So I think like your toughness and competitive fire is something that really separates you from other players, because I mean, you play every possession. So that's one of the things that I like about your game that translates. Who do you think you play like? Like, is there an NBA player who you think your game is similar to?
Um, I love watching two guys, but I don't think my game is similar to these guys. But I'm trying to play or grow like these two guys, like Siakam and Pascal Siakam and Kawhi Leonard. I love Pascal Siakam because of his story, his athleticism, and how he work out, how fast he did to be an NBA player, All Star. He's from Cameroon, and he have a good story. And Kawhi because he's a great defender. How he impact the both side of the court. Yeah. So I'm trying to watch films and improve my game.
It's very interesting because, when I think of NBA players from Africa, like right now, Embiid stands out the most. And then you have Ibaka, but then you can go back to like the Olajuwons. But the player that I hear so many guys look up to is Siakam. I feel like his story seems like a little bit more relatable to a lot of African prospects, because I mean, he's tall, but he's not like a 7-foot center. And but it just seems like whether it's you or even like Sekou Doumbouya, that's the player that he said that he wants to pattern his game after. So I think it's very interesting, because I think as an American, when you think of the African prospect, you're used to hearing about a back to the basket center, a shot blocker, or I mean like Olajuwon, even though he's like a one of one. But to see so many people look up to Siakam, I think is showing how the game in Africa is expanding. You don't have to be a center now. You can be, I mean, you still be a big, but you can show your skill set. So I think those two guys are great examples.
You are from Cameroon, and how did you end up in Italy?
I come to Italy just because I did the camp to Lukumbaramute camp in Cameroon, and after this camp, I had the chance to meet the coach from University of Douala University. So he put me in relation, in contact with Angelo Destasio. And Angelo Destasio, his friend is Maurizio, my agent, my last agent, who passed away last summer. So, and Maurizio put me in contact with Stella Azzurra, and then after some months, I come here to start this unbelievable experience with Stella.
So you're currently with BDA now, is that correct?
Yeah.
So I got a funny story. I was in Chicago All-Star weekend, and I ran into Nikola Flipovic. And so it's Rade Flipovic. It's his son, Nikola. And so I talked to him, and just kind of talking about different guys I like. And then maybe like a few weeks later, he sends me a screenshot, and he says, "I'm watching this prospect," and he was watching video on you that I had on my YouTube channel. So I thought that was cool. And then maybe like a week later, I'm on Twitter and I see that you signed with BDA. So I thought that was cool that I may have had a really small part in it. So, but yeah, great agency. Like I've done some video projects for them every summer during summer league, as far as like helping send some of their prospects film to different teams overseas. So I think you're in good hands with BDA. You kind of answered this, but what areas do you feel like you need to improve on between now and in the NBA draft?
I have to improve for sure in my shooting and my ball handling. So that's why we are working on it. Also, I have to watch a lot of films too to improve my
feel.
My feel the game. Yeah, to feel more the game. Yeah.
I mean, like,
I have to do three things.
Yeah, and when I watch your film, I notice like you're still a little raw in some sense, but at the same time, you've only been playing for 6 years, so it's understandable. But I mean, just the tremendous strides you've made. I mean, I didn't see you when you first started, but like I said earlier, to go from learning how to play to NBA prospect in 6 years is incredible. I mean, there's only 450 NBA players in the entire world. And you were within months of possibly joining that 450, that elite group of players, despite only playing 6 years. And so I think with hard work and the right development, I mean, you can just keep seeing your name rise up to being, one of the top 300, the top 200 players in the world. So you have the talent. I mean, you have all the tools needed. It's hard to make up that time, but you've done an excellent job as far as just making up for lost time and catching up. So that's one of the reasons I'm so high on you as a prospect.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You have a great athleticism. When did you realize your athletic talents were rare?
I realized it when my agent Mauricio, as I told, did a little camp in Cameroon, and then in middle between my friends and other guys, I was sure I am the less talent. I got the less talent than these guys. So in the end, I was choose between these guys. So I'm start to understand I have something special, different than another guys. Also, if I was very little, small, I didn't know do anything about basketball, but I was choosing. In this moment, I had the confidence start to grow, and then in this moment, I had more confidence.
And how is the basketball environment in Cameroon? How is your court? How is your net? How is your basket?
Yeah, basketball we play a lot of the playground. Yeah, with the friends. Yeah, I don't really know the situation, but when I was there, I did the practice like 2 or 1 times per week because I had to go to school because it's different than here, and we cannot practice in the night, so you just have to find the time during the day to practice. So I didn't practice very a lot, so that was fun. Was very fun.
How many times have you been to the States? Is it just the one time in LA, or have you been multiple times?
No, I think 5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Okay. What events did you play in?
I did Jordan Brand Classic,
Okay.
New York, and then LA to Basketball Without Borders.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, we some trip with Stella Zora team to this did some tournament, and then when I was for the draft, I think.
Okay. What are your favorite things to do off the court?
Off the court, I love playing PlayStation, watching Netflix, or ending with some friends. Just going around city, talk, meet another person.
And who is your favorite player from NBA and Europe?
My favorite player from NBA, Yakam
Yeah.
Pascal, and in Europe, I think Mike James.
Okay.
Mike James is a bucket.
Yeah.
When I lived in Europe, he played for Panathinaikos, and then that was my first time hearing of him. And I consider myself like a big basketball junkie.
His shooting is very quick,
His floater,
Yeah.
like he shoots like this crazy scoop floater. I mean, he's fun to watch. And I thought he was going to stick in the NBA when he went to Phoenix. I think he went to Summer League 2017. Like he literally came from playing in Pana, and I think he went straight to the Summer League, played well, made the Suns. I thought he played well in Phoenix, and then for whatever reason, he just decided that he was more comfortable playing in Europe. But he's definitely one of the best players I've seen in Europe. All right. What is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal here in Italy is carbonara.
Okay. What about your favorite movie, and what type of music do you listen to?
I don't have favorite movie because I watch a lot, but like the movie like Apocalypse or Marvel movies, Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Song, hip hop, reggaeton, Afro trap. I listen a lot.
So this is a question I've been asking a lot of the guys that have come on the show. How many languages do you speak?
I can say 2.5 because of my English, but I can speak Italian, French, and English.
Now your English is good. So,
Thank you.
so yeah, that's 3. I'm American, and I only know English, and that's it. And
You're
so,
good.
I think it's like, to me, it's just tough to pick up and know another language. So I really admire guys who can come on this show and do an interview in their second or third language. So I really appreciate that, because I think it takes a lot of, it's like basketball in a sense, probably. You have to be confident in your speaking, and then I guess in some ways it can seem like a little bit of pressure when you're on here and I'm asking these questions.
Different for sure.
Yeah, so I really admire that talent, and it's going to be a goal of mine to learn another language. I need to figure out which language that I want to pick up.
Maybe Spanish.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest transition to the States, but I don't know. I think it would be cooler if I say, I speak Italian or I speak French.
And my last question for me, what is your favorite offensive and defensive sets?
My favorite offense set is run the floor, playing post up, shooting 3, coming off, and defense. I love playing 1-on-1. Grab the rebound, sacrifice myself for the teammates. Helping, try to do some blocks. Just it.
Okay.
Well, man, I know you probably have stuff to do, and it's evening there. I wanted to thank you and your manager for agreeing to come on to this podcast and give my listeners a chance to get a giving my listeners an opportunity to get a chance to learn more about you. Hopefully, and I think it's very realistic that I'll see you in October at the NBA draft, hear your name being called. I definitely think that you're an NBA player and you have the opportunity to, you can be the next Siakam, because I remember draft day, a lot of people didn't really know who he was. And crazy Siakam's story is I live in Dallas, Texas. Siakam went to high school right here in Dallas, and I never heard of him. And I follow basketball like crazy. So just the fact that he went from like kind of being unknown in Dallas to within maybe 5 years, NBA champion, $100 million contract. And I mean, he might win most improved player this year. So that's not a bad person for you to model yourself after and have a similar path. So I think you're on the right track. Like I said, I hope to see you and hear your name on the NBA draft. And then I'll just continue like doing my part as far as like making videos for my website and just kind of showing the American audience like some of your strengths and what you're good at. So just want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you, Kuzey, for setting up this interview.
It's very cool. It's very good.
Thank you.
So on YouTube, yeah. So.
Yeah, thanks. I remember I was in China, and I want to say I just got back to the States because of the whole pandemic, and so I knew I was trying to figure out like which player did I want to highlight and feature, and so I was like, you know what, let me drop this video. And I struggled with your name at the time. I was trying to do the research, and like if you type in someone's name, it's not going to tell you the exact pronunciation. And then one of the people in the comments was like, this is how you pronounce it. But yeah, I mean, I made that video right when I got back to the States, not knowing that a month later, someone from BDA would send me the screenshot saying that they were watching it. And then, like I said earlier, I get on Twitter and I see you sign with BDA. All right. Well, thanks again, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Thank you to everybody that's listening to NBA Draft Junkies. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for those that are tuning in on YouTube, for those that are listening on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you're listening to podcasts on your streaming devices. Once again, it's Raphael with NBA Draft Junkies, and we are out.